Blанкой Францией was the personal private maid who had served Jackson from 1986 to 1991. At the time, she was the only one who'd been allowed into the inner sanctum of Michael Jackson's bedroom, where she claimed to have seen physical touching between man and boy, where she had seen books and pictures of a questionable nature, and where she had been manipulated and threatened into silence. Hardcopy paid Francia $20,000 for an interview. She had begun her employment at Havenhurst, where Michael's mother, Catherine Jackson, had hired her. She would follow Michael when he finally moved out. At first, she said there was some friction with Catherine Jackson because shortly after she was hired, Michael decided she was his, and she spent nearly all her time in and around his bedroom suite. Blанкой was from El Salvador and spoke only broken English, but she had the innate intelligence to understand all the dynamics swirling around her. I had arranged to meet Blанкой at a Hilton hotel not far from the Neverland Ranch on December 9, 1993, where we did the interview. Blанкой was a short, slightly stocky, dark-haired woman in her mid-30s who looked at me with anxious eyes when we first met. She was dressed in a black and white patterned blouse with a straight black skirt, as if she might be going to church. I began by asking Blанкой if she had been fired. How come you left?
I got tired of what was going on, and I think I saw too much. I think I was manipulated. I was being manipulated by Mr. Jackson, and that I was used by my Mr. Jackson. And I got tired, and I decided to leave.
But what do you mean you saw too much?
I saw these mothers taking these boys to this house, and sleeping with them for days, and taking baths together, showers together, and when I got to see his room, their undershorts on the floor together, and...
In the morning, you mean?
In the morning, when I get to make up his room, I was his private housekeeper, and I think I was trusted by him to do this. In the beginning, he would ask me, what do you think about what's going on here? I said it was none of my business.
That was the right answer for him?
Yeah, and he says, I like it.
So he must have trusted you.
Yes, he did. He really told me that. And I really believed that. I thought that was true. As Blанкой explained it, Neverland was a place you never really left behind. She'd been fully informed about Jordan Chandler's allegations, and she had followed all the developments in the newspapers and on television. Blанкой still lived in the Santa Barbara County community and had stayed in contact with others who continued to work at the ranch. The standing order that all Neverland employees sign a strict confidentiality agreement did not stop them from speaking to one another. Blанкой had confirmed that after she left the ranch, Michael's string of, quote, special friends, unquote, continued to visit, some with their parents, some alone. There were several different boys, she had heard, but they were all the same in several regards. They were always prepubescent, from 7 to 12 years old. Michael always seemed to have a fascination with their mouths, and he gave them all the same silly nickname, Rubba. As burdened as she still seemed by her knowledge, she was still somehow distressed at revealing it. It really hurts me. He knows that it hurts. He knows. I always think I will never say anything against him. But I think what is going on now, he really needs help. He really needs help.
Do you think he thinks that? Do you think he thinks he needs help?
He thinks it's normal.
But sleeping with young boys and taking baths with young boys is not normal.
Well, not to you and me, but to him, even to me, seeing this in the morning and having to clean up after them, finding underwears, like I say, in his bathtub, is not normal.
But it became routine?
Yeah, it became routine. It was like a routine. Like when I see him laying in bed or sleeping bag together, in the same sleeping bag.
Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson and young boys, yeah.
How many young boys are we talking about? How many did you see come and go?
Well, from the Encino house, I know one boy that I remember, that he is his favorite friend.
Did he spend the night?
He spent the night.
Where were this young boy's parents?
I never got to meet them. I never met them.
Was he just dropped off and stayed for days and days?
Yeah, he stayed there. They will go shopping and they will get home with bags of toys and expensive stereos and expensive things. And he would get there and stay. Michael Jackson would tell me to go home. I don't need you for the day, he would say. You can go home now.
Blanca's story was eerily similar to what the Havenhurst guards had said. How could Jackson entertain young boys, sometimes for days on end, at Havenhurst without drawing scrutiny from other adults, Jackson's parents and siblings who lived there?
They were kept away from what was going on with Michael and boys.
How? How did they not know if it was happening right there at the Encino house?
They are private. They are like private persons. They kept in their own rooms. Mrs. Jackson will stay in her room, and Michael will stay in his room.
And when he was there, did they always know that he was there?
No, he will tell me not to let them know that he was there, which makes me so uncomfortable because he will make me lie all the time.
You had to lie to his parents?
Yes, for instance, when he got the hideaway, he told me if anyone asks me where this hideaway is, not to tell anyone.
Now, the hideaway was an apartment over on...
It's a condominium.
On Wilshire Boulevard?
Yes, he told me not to tell anyone. And I say, what if your mother asks me? He say, well, tell them. Tell her that you don't know. That was his favorite word, you don't know.
Lie for me, in other words.
Yes, and he will tell me, people want to bug me all the time, bother me, and I don't want people to follow me all the time. And I need someone to protect me all the time, and I feel like, oh, I am here for you.
Blanca said there was a ritual that Michael Jackson engaged in whenever he had a young visitor. Nearly every little boy stayed overnight, she said. Sometimes the boys stayed for several days and nights.
What I notice is that every time he gets a boy, he would put the bed covers down right away, right when they first get in there. He would have the bed all made out. He would have that bed rolled down. And he would fix it and make it nice, and then from there I suspect that he will have a little friend.
Every time you saw the bed come down?
Every time I see the bed come down, I say to myself, oh, he's going to have a little friend over, and I knew by that time that he will say, I'm going to go home.
He would dismiss you whenever they came?
Yes, he would say, oh, you can go home now, or he would tell me to stay so I can bring him something to eat, or tell the cook to leave him something to eat by the door.
Now, this is in his mother and dad's home in Encino.
Yes.
Yet his mother and dad say nothing like this ever happened.
Yeah, it did happen.
LaToya says it happened too.
Yeah.
Did she really know? Could she have known?
Yeah, you see, everybody keeps over there at the house. Everybody keeps to themselves, to their own world. They're doing something else. Michael's doing something else.
But LaToya, she says she noticed the boys coming and going.
Yes.
Do you believe her?
Yes, everybody noticed it then. Everybody. What exactly did Blanca mean when she said everybody, I wondered. She had just described the family as private persons who kept to their own rooms. Did she mean the cadre of bodyguards, handlers, attorneys, managers, and other servants? If this behavior was occurring on an ongoing basis, why didn't anyone step forward to tell the authorities? How could that many adults keep such secrets? They think they are protecting him, helping him, but they are not really helping him. You see, he needs help.
Psychological help, you mean?
Yeah, they are not helping him by not saying what's going on.
But do you think they really know what's going on?
Yes, they do. They know what's going on.
Why do you think they don't come forward and say something, go to the police?
He has the power, I think. He has the control over them.
The money?
The money, yes. I feel bad for him because he will feel that, you know, that money means everything. Like giving money to me, giving me all the little gifts. He used to play an interviewing game with me. He would come to me and say, what do you think about Michael Jackson? And I would say, oh, he's a nice person. He's a beautiful person. He's a lovely person. And say, good. Actually, he'd have me saying what he wanted to hear.
Sounds very manipulative.
Yes, he was. He was. He was doing that to me all the time. And I was pulling like a puppet, being pulled by him, just that all the sweet things that he used to tell me, like the protective things that he used to tell me, that I will protect you, that I will be there for you all the time, that nobody will harm you, that I have the power and you have the power too.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
Yes, for me. Coming from a different country and not having the same language, it was amazing for me.